A little bit, but not totally. I think it's for the overall playoff, not, just put so much emphasis on game one, Josh. Our guys are smart. Nobody in that room that doesn't know the numbers and see the numbers and understand the history of game one. But again, I thought having a game like that would set the tone because if you look at the past, those last few games have usually been, teams that are playing for the lottery or whatever. And even though it didn't come out the right way and we didn't get 60, I thought the tone of the game, the tempo of the game, the intensity of the game was good for us. The physicality of the game, that's what a playoffs game is going to be like. It was like a playoff game. And so I thought for that reason it was good.
What do you make of the numbers in game one? They don't seem to make much sense.
Dave, you tell me, and we'll both know. I will go to Wall Street and make a lot of money in the state, in New York, Bay Street here, and make a lot of money. We tried a few different things. Again, like you said, guys played down the stretch. I think one game was all guys took off. It wasn't any multiple games guys taking off and that type of thing. So it's a phenomenon. If we knew the history of it, there's a lot of first. I mean, there for a while we couldn't win in Charlotte, and so there's always that one thing that a hurdle you got to overcome, and that's the major one for us now. But again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm a basketball coach. I know to prepare, how to prepare, and that's the way we have to approach it, not overthink it.
Do you think though that is it a mentality thing to a certain degree, or is it just effort?
It's not effort. No, I don't think it's effort. I don't think guys go out there and not play hard. So that's a hard one. It's I don't know if it's mental or teams feel like they can come in with confidence or whatever from that standpoint. But I don't think it's effort or intensity, that type of thing. Again, it's only been a few years we've been getting into the playoffs consistently. So, it's got to be more mental than anything else, I would say. But it's not effort.
What's the right mindset for a team to be in to shoot well, to execute it offensively in your case?
Well, and again, to his point, he said it was was it effort. I think it's more that. I think our offensive struggles carry over to the defensive end. In game one, I think the offensive side has been more of our issue, missing shots we normally make, and our shoulders drop. We don't get back in transition or don't execute the defensive schemes as well. Again, that's why offensively we got to be, and that's one reason why we changed our offense and to spread the ball around and not where teams could double up on DeMar and Kyle and where they feel like they feel the pressure of having to carry the load. We have other guys that we can trust and get the ball to and make plays, and that's what we've done this year. So hopefully that's the plan. That's going to take care of some of the woes we've had in game one.
CJ, to shoot well, you got to feel free.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it to get these guys going to game one?
Feel free. That's why you don't want to make a huge deal out of it. I think they understand it. I think our guys have played with a lot of freedom the entire year. Nothing's different going into tomorrow. Guys move the ball, pass the ball, take the shots you work on in practice, and let it fly. And that's the approach they've got to have, and we'll have tomorrow.
When you look at Washington's bench, Oubre and Satoransky, what kind of challenges do you think they face?
Size. I think size is one that where they have an advantage in that situation at the guard position. So we'll have to make sure we have the right matchups on Satoransky, who's an unnoticed player that they have that people don't respect, but people in the basketball world respect what he brings to the table, his intelligence, his size, his ability to shoot the ball, and also his ability to defend with his size. So, and then Oubre's been playing really well for him. He's really a excellent standstill corner shooter that is underestimated, and now with wall back, he gets in the paint, creates, and looking to find him. So those two guys off the bench is a problem for us.
OG came into the year not set, but definitely comfortable as a on the ball. How has he come along off the ball as a defender?
Learning. That's the biggest challenge of most young players, Eric, is the fact that when they're off the ball, what do I do? And then, and Lord forbid, they start moving on the weak side. Now you really have to think and read situations and what do I do? And he's learning that because, he's seen most things so far throughout the year as far as exchanging, cutting out the slot, reading that, who takes that, switches, if we're going to switch to nail, how we're going to handle that. So all those things he's seen multiple times now, so he's more comfortable. He's much better than he was when we first played Washington early in the year.
On a similar note, what can you take defensively out of the season series, given that, the guy who has the ball most wasn't playing in any of the 4 games?
Well, again, you have to go back to your defensive principles. Get back in transition, load to the basketball. Most of all, we got to get back. I mean, that's the number one thing, and then find their shooters in transition. We got to find Oubre. We got to find Beal in transition. You got to find Porter and those guys. And again, like I said, Gortat is one of the most efficient guys in the league at setting screens, doing different things, screening his own man, holding his own man, doing all those things to create alleys and lanes and driving alleys for Wall to get to the basket. So our bigs have to do a good job of getting back and not letting him be a factor in the paint.
Do you have an update on Fred?
No, he's questionable. He's still sore, and so he's questionable to go tomorrow, and we'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Is it just the shoulder? Or
It's just his shoulder. It's just nothing. No. No, you might think it's a concussion, but no, it's not. No, there's not. Right, he got hit pretty good. That's in our league. That's the thing you complain about so much in our league as far as screens are concerned. And our officials are doing a much better job, but we still can do a better job of legal screens and illegal screens. If a guy's moving, stepping, it's you hitting a guy head on. It's a play that will cause injuries. And I think our league did a good job of protecting the shooters. Now they've got to do a good job. We've got to do a better job of reading legal screens and illegal screens, because that's where a lot of the injuries are coming now. Guys coming off their own DHOs, pin downs, and pick and rolls.
Well, there's maybe a higher volume of screens, especially those DHOs.
No question. Chasing guys over, and that's a tough call. That one slide, that one more step is very difficult for officials to see, and that's that's an area that they've gotten better in, but we can do better. And that was the play that where he hurt his shoulder.
As good as your bench has been this year, do you go into this needing more from them, or do you say, hold up, don't ask too much of them and just do what you
Play their game, Michael. They got to come out and do what they do. Play their game. Like Michael said, be free. Don't come and overthink it. Play basketball. And some of that's been some of our issues in Game 1. We got just looking in here. These people wasn't here in Game 72. So, that's the way we got to approach tomorrow. We know how important it is. Believe me, they're smart players. But you don't want to come out and try to do something you haven't done all year. Play your game, and they've done an excellent job all year of coming out and competing with smarts, moving the basketball, assisting each other on both ends of the floor, and that's what they have to do tomorrow.
Well, how proud are you of the way you guys advanced in culture? Maybe things look pretty bleak when you guys got swept by these guys 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You never took a backwards step.
Right.
Since.
It's satisfaction. You see the growth of the program, you see the growth of players, your whole organization. Now we're complaining about number 1 seed, number 2 seed, talking about those things instead of are we just going to make the playoffs? So that growth is precious. Especially we've grown players, from within. It's not like we went out and signed Larry Bird or Michael or anybody like that. So it takes time for these players. You just don't wave a magic wand. And our organization has done a great job, Masai and Bobby, and those guys have done a good job of picking players late, and they come in and fit. And that's huge. That's huge. They come in and fit your team chemistry. But seeing something in those players that you can develop. Usually you have to get in the top 10 to get guys like Norm Powell and Fred Van Fleet and those kind of guys. And it's sort of the same thing that San Antonio's done over the years. They get Ginobili late and groom them and bring them up. And they had Parker and Duncan and Robinson in front of them. But still, it's the same thing. You know, bring those guys in, have patience, which we don't have a lot of nowadays in sports, but you got to have patience of growing those guys. And again, you know, we're not where we used to be, but we're not where going to go. And you know, we still have some room to grow as an organization and as a team.
Could you have predicted that following that summer, like in the wake of that loss, that there would have been this much patience?
No, I didn't. No, not at all. Because it's not, you know, you shouldn't. If you know, but again, as the foresight, I knew as from a coaching standpoint, we was going the right way. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be ups and downs, and you know, everybody's ready to flip the switch on everything and flush it down. And Masai had patience and saw what's coming, and it's sort of the same thing that you're seeing in Philadelphia. And unfortunately, the group that started that is not there anymore. But it takes time to grow a program in this league, and consistency is huge, you know, for any organization.
Dwane, you indicated that you don't want to be bound by the unwritten rules when it comes to bench usage in the playoffs. Why do you feel that way?
Well, I think our record, you know, you have the number one bench in the, you know, plus minus in the league, one of the top benches in producing benches in the league, and I think they were a huge part of who we are. You know, that was the main reason why I say that and stick to that. Now, is that going to change as the playoffs go on? You know, do we have to adjust matchups or certain situations? Maybe, but again, we're not going in thinking that. We're going in thinking, you know, making sure that we try to keep our second unit intact. And Fred being out, it will adjust it somewhat as far as someone taking those minutes. You know, so you know, if it's one of those things that you know, that we got to read as we go along. If Fred can't go tomorrow. If he can't go, and that's what I'm saying, that would change it somewhat.
Coach Lowry said he wants to approach this as a game 7, even though it's game 1. Does that seem like a reasonable approach to you?
Well, again, it's an individual thing, D. It's one of those things where if that's what it takes for him to you know, to get himself going in game 1, and that's fine. Whatever it takes from an individual standpoint. What I don't want to do is, you know, we've talked about it, we've made a point about it, but we don't want to overdo it. Again, I'm trusting our players' basketball instincts, their competitive nature, their competitive spirit, and going in from that standpoint. And I have all faith in the world that we're going to come out and be the similar team we've been in the regular season. So that's the trust that we have in our players, and we got to have, and not, you know, look at, you know, history of the game and past games. And again, we've overcome some first in a lot of areas. You know, again, we couldn't win for whatever reason in Charlotte there for a while. And we just kept chugging at it, and finally got over the hump.
Dwane, as silly, I guess, as it might be, does it help in some senses? It's not a noon, it's not a 1 p.m., it's a tip on a regular day?
No, it is, Eric, but we got to be ready to play if it's 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is. But it helps. You know, again, that's not the only factor going into it, because I think last year, I can't even tell you what time it was. Same time, 5:30 last year. So it's about the mental approach, and if it, like Dave just said, if it takes Kyle feeling like it's game 7, so be it. Let's do it. Let's have game 7. You know. Again, I think it's going to be different for each individual player, because some of our guys have not been in a game 7. So it's going to be an individual approach and that type of thing. And I feel like our guys are ready. We had a good practice today. I thought the Miami game was disappointing because we didn't get 60, but I love the fight level, the compete level, the scrappy team, hard-playing team the Miami is. It will help us going into game 1.